Hello, everyone. Hello, prisoners of Earth. Welcome to our podcast, the first episode of Branching Off with Joe Elms and Levi Jones over there. I'm Joe. You may know me from my other podcast, Sports Talk on Elm Street. I co-host, co-produce with my friend Quinn Richards. But what we have here, this is not going to be related to any of that. This is just myself and my co-host Levi Jones.
Hello, guys. Sorry, I've been really quiet since that. I'm just letting him cook. You know? Just letting him cook. This is gonna be a podcast about talking about, anything and everything. We're gonna branch out. We're gonna branch off any kind of topic we talk about, and I hope you guys like it.
Hence the name of the podcast.
Exactly.
So, this is kind of the format is for this. There is no format, really.
We're just here to have fun.
Yeah, we're just here to.
And you know what, guys? I hope you have fun. That's all I'm hoping for.
That's all we want. We're just here to discuss whatever it is that we talk about, and kind of once we kind of get on this just this kind of. It's how it goes. We just pick a topic, and then I think from there we just kind of go, and it's.
And we may start with one topic, and then it's gonna dissolve into something that is
completely different. Completely different.
It's gonna be like nothing you've ever seen before. Like, we're gonna start with, say, music, and then we're gonna end with the history of the Roman Empire. Like,
exactly.
I
couldn't have said it any better myself.
Exactly. It's just gonna go completely AWOL.
Yeah. Speaking of music, Levi, so you were singing you were singing a song.
Yes, I was.
You were singing a song as you were coming into the studio today.
And I rely on each other. So I was.
So what was that song that you were singing?
Okay, yes. So the song, I guess I just looked it up here before the podcast because maybe it's bad on me, but I didn't know what it was called.
No, I got you.
It's called "Island in the Stream." It's a Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton song. Shout out both of them, honestly.
Yeah, it came out in 1983.
Yes. I was not listening. I was watching How I Met Your Mother earlier today. If any of you know what that show is.
Yeah, shout out.
Anybody know.
Shout out How I Met Your Mother.
Shout out How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, so it was from How I Met Your. It was in the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was watching How I Met Your Mother in season 9. I think it's episode 1 because I'm watching it with my girlfriend currently. So shout out girlfriend.
Shout out.
And then
should we name drop her? Maddie?
Oh yes, yeah. Maddie. She's a lovely woman, best person in the world, to be honest. That's all you need to know.
And she may or may not be coming on.
Exactly. You never know. You may see her.
You
may see her on the podcast.
Yeah. So anyway, you were saying Islands in the Stream.
Yes, of course. Islands in the Stream. Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers. Specifically, I was singing the Kenny Rogers part.
Yeah.
And we rely on each other. So shout out Kenny Rogers because that's just fantastic.
Well, fun fact. Okay, are you familiar with the Bee Gees?
Yes, I am.
So that song was written by the Bee Gees, recorded by Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it came out in 1983.
Oh my goodness!
The first single from the 15th studio album, "Eyes That See in the Dark."
Dude, this guy is
that being Rogers. I literally just looked that up on Wikipedia right now.
This guy is full of information. He knows everything.
Music is a passion of mine. I'm not gonna go out of my. You're more than familiar with what my music taste is. I'm not necessarily going to go out of my way to listen to a song like Islands in the Stream because it's not my
forte.
Not really my cup of tea exactly.
No, not your forte at all.
Kind of like that soft rock.
Exactly. Which I was about to say, would you care to explain?
Country pop. Oh, my music taste?
Yes,
we're jumping right in. Okay.
Let's to preface this, I will say,
go.
In my personal opinion, his music taste sucks.
And
it is so bad.
In my personal opinion, his music taste sucks, but we'll get into that in a second.
Exactly.
So, so you want me to explain my music taste? So it can be kind of summed up. I'll start with 3 bands.
Exactly.
I'm big into the post 9/11 New York City indie alternative rock scene. Of course, that started with the Strokes. Shout
out the Strokes.
Let's do a little bit of research here so we can, we can be accurate in what we're talking about. So let's start with the Strokes, right? We're gonna go. They were my favorite band for up until about April of last year, something changed, but we're going to get into that in a second. So the Strokes formed in New York City in 1998, composed of lead singer and primary songwriter Julian Casablancas, guitarists Albert Hammond Jr., Nick Valenci, bassist Nikolai Freicher, and drummer Fabrizio Moretti, who is Brazilian-American, fun fact.
Shout out.
So they were big in the indie rock scene, the kind of garage rock. Okay. You're familiar with garage rock, the concept of garage rock, and rock was kind of like dead. And the thing about rock music is that for the longest time, people were kind of just looking for that savior of rock music, because it was kind of just almost not dead necessarily, because it's rock music. It never really dies.
Right.
You know
like thinking going back into the past, rock was big on like what, AC/DC.
Yeah,
huge,
exactly. Like
rock in the 70s and 80s was gigantic.
Yeah, and you can kind of like say, rock it's a very broad term in and of itself.
Right.
You know, I mean, like you're thinking like, of course, there's rock, like there's country rock, there's kind of Americana kind of rock, and then there's stuff like what you mentioned, AC/DC, right? Stuff like heavy metal, punk,
exactly.
And like I like a little bit of punk, a little bit of post punk. That's that's a different conversation altogether. But but the thing about rock, especially during this time period where the Strokes were kind of just prevalent, getting started, let's say.
Exactly.
Rock was looking for this band that would just bring it back from the dead.
Like something different.
Exactly.
They needed something different. They needed another AC/DC type beat.
Exactly. They needed some AC/DC, something like that. And I don't know if we're necessarily comparing AC/DC to the Strokes, because their musical styles are different.
Oh, of course,
as we both know.
Of course, completely different in the aspect of rock. But
what makes so here's one for you. What makes we're both familiar kind of with the Strokes, and they're sort of they're kind of
when you force me to listen to music in the car.
Exactly. Thank you. I couldn't have said it any better. So what makes AC/DC different, I guess? I kind of like, just like, I guess from your perspective, is like, do you listen? How much AC/DC do you listen to?
Not a lot.
Probably what I should have started with.
Yes, no, of course. Not a lot, but I have in the past. I feel like AC/DC is more of that, like you said, heavy metal.
Yeah, like
that
kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the type of AC/DC, like the type of rock that AC/DC does.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Strokes is a little more calm.
It's kind of more a little, I don't want to say laid back, but it's not as kind of like AC/DC in the kind of genre of like metal and punk has these these heavy thrashing guitars going really fast. The Strokes are kind of like that, but it's a lot more slimmed down, kind of back to the basics of post punk, and it's a lot more, how do I put this? It's a lot more maybe easy on the ears, a little more radio friendly. I guess I'm saying this from my perspective because I know you don't really like them.
No. I do not.
But yeah, no, the Strokes, they were kind of this, they got their first album, Is This It?, released in 2001.
Okay.
One of the fun fact about this album that is, I don't know how you're going to react to this. One of the songs on Is This It is called New York City Cops. And,
oh my.
And the original release date of Is This It was September 11th, 2001.
Oh, wow.
So they had to replace that track in the wake of, 9/11.
Yeah, of course.
So as you might imagine, a track called New York City Cops following something as horribly tragic as 9/11, that would not really go over well, and the refrain was New York City Cops, they ain't too smart.
Okay, so they were kind of downplaying the police in New York at that time.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, as you guys know, after 9/11, there was a big camaraderie within America.
It became more, very, very very tight knit, more so than
we were
kinda,
united.
exactly.
We
exactly.
had somebody to fight against. We had a common enemy that
Yeah.
we all were like, yeah, that's the bad guy.
Yeah.
So we kind of rallied against them, basically.
So that certainly took a turn.
Right.
Anyway, getting back to the Strokes, they released "Is This It?" They followed it up with "Room on Fire," then released their third album in 2006. Yes. First
2006.
Impressions of Earth, which is the Strokes record that I probably know the least about.
Okay.
Still a great record, but I just don't. I only have a couple of songs from that record off my playlist. So then they go on hiatus for a few years. A lot of the band members kind of just go off, do their own thing. Julian Casablancas released a solo album, Phrases
Okay.
for the Young, around this time. So then they come back in 2011, release Angles, which I love. Something interesting about this record, though, the way it was recorded, was that the rest of the band, minus Julian Casablancas, who was doing, I don't really know for sure what he was doing around this time. They would basically record the instrumentals without him. He wouldn't be there to do the vocals, and then they would write the songs almost without him, and he would when they would try to reach out to him, say hey, what do you want this direction to go? He would just kind of send emails in very, very vague terms without, the band wouldn't have a lot to go off of.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
So they kind of split up. I mean, to a certain extent, was there any bad blood? What happened? Do you know?
I mean, there wasn't, I don't know if I'd say there was bad blood. They were kind of still kind of coming into their own, because you got to think these young guys, these guys who the Strokes were probably around the age we are now when they got started, and they're still kind of in their 20s. They're kind of still young, and they're still trying to find themselves. It is also worth mentioning that the lead guitarist Albert Hammond Jr. was had some drug problems.
Okay.
Had to go into rehab. He broke up with his girlfriend, and that really kind of did a number on him. So that kind of created a little bit of a even further kind of fissure almost.
Right.
I wouldn't say, to borrow your term, I wouldn't say there was any bad blood, but I would say that there was some disconnect.
Okay.
Let's put it like that. There was some disconnect.
Interesting.
It's the recording process was just not. It was not really there were a couple members who were we're never doing that again. We're never recording an album like that ever again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was Julian Casablancas was kind of or actually, let me back up and say Nick Valenci said, I won't do the next album if we make it like this. No way. It was awful working in a fractured way, not having a singer there.
Okay.
Sometimes he would apparently, it says here, sometimes he would just show up in the studio, just him and his guitar and just the engineer, and that would just be it. They would just do that, and that was kind of just all it was, almost.
Interesting. So was it for fun, or was it I wouldn't make music without my guys?
I think it was more so the latter. It was I feel like it was kind of they wanted to be together.
Okay.
All of them, songwriting, recording, producing, all of this stuff.
Right.
They didn't really want to be apart like they were for the recording of Angles.
Okay.
And it kind of got, their next one, it was a little bit more together. The each of the members, they were it wasn't just Julian Casablancas doing all the songwriting, having all the ideas. It wasn't just him. It was all of the members of the band bringing in their own stuff, and they would kind of just put all those that they liked kind of together, and then that would what would ultimately become their think about this 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth album.
Wow.
Come Down Machine in 2013.
Okay. Yeah, I pulled up Wikipedia here.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of following along as you're telling me the history of it, and it looks interesting. I'm liking it.
The lore.
The lore of the Strokes.
Yeah. So then after Come Down Machine, which I believe is considered by critics to be the weakest Strokes album. I don't think it's on Metacritic, which is kind of a general like a film, TV, music, video games, all kinds of reviewing. They review all kinds of stuff. It got a 68%.
Oh, wow.
Out of 100 based on 44.
Now, what is your personal opinion?
I think Come Down Machine it's a good album. I don't think it's as good as Is This It's, Room on Fire, and The New Abnormal, which we will get to in a second.
Right.
I personally think The New Abnormal is probably the Strokes' best record.
Oh, wow.
Which is crazy because a lot of people think that Is This It, their first one, that was the one that kind of like, rock music is back kind of thing.
Right.
That was the record that like brought them. It made them famous. It
Exactly.
made them famous,
Right.
and it made them kind of almost be considered by a lot of the music community the quote unquote saviors of rock.
I think there's a beauty in big singers or big bands in like their first album.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people will always probably say, like, hey, their first album might have been the best because it's the one that made them famous.
Yeah.
Or like their best album is the one that made them famous.
Yeah.
Not necessarily their first album, because sometimes that isn't always their first album.
Right.
But I feel like sometimes it's always the one that made them famous.
Yeah.
It's their best album.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think the Strokes are a good example of that. I think the next couple bands in my big three that we'll get to in a second. I'll try not to spend, as much time.
No, but I feel like the Strokes kind of like it's valid for it because they're I feel like the most famous out of your three.
Yeah.
And then they have so much just in-depth stuff about them.
Yeah. So they released Come Down Machine, and then they released an EP, Future, Present, Past, that came out in 2016. Very underrated. One of the most underrated works from the band. And then in 2019, this was released right in the middle, like right after the world shut down because of COVID.
Okay.
The New Abnormal, which I believe is their best record. I thought the album title was quite fitting because of the circumstances that the world now had kind of found itself in, right? It was quite literally the new abnormal.
Now, of course, I've never listened to any of this because obviously the music sucks, but
man, Levi, you make me laugh.
Hey, you know what? I'm trying.
You're trying, yeah, just trying.
Did they make that for COVID? Like the title of it, called The New Abnormal, it kind of makes it look like it was made for COVID. Like they're like, oh, COVID happened, now we're going to write some songs about the new abnormal. Now, of course, I've never listened to it. I haven't ever gone in depth to what the songs actually are and what they mean. But is that what it is? Please, the Stroke connoisseur, please tell me what.
Before I answer that question, I want to say that that question, that like it really like that really means a lot to me, because some people, like, when they like, for people who aren't familiar with my music taste, I've never heard anybody I've interacted with who doesn't know my music taste ask questions like the ones you're asking.
Oh, thank you.
Right
I
now.
appreciate it.
So this is awesome. I appreciate it.
In my personal opinion, sometimes I just love to learn about what people
just learn
know.
about new stuff.
Exactly. Because, like, obviously, it's horrible music. I'd never listen to it. But that doesn't mean I can't learn about them.
Of course.
Like, I love learning things.
Yeah.
Why do you think I'm in college?
That's kind of like, that's where we are supposed to learn a bunch of new things about ourselves that we didn't know before.
Exactly. But now I'm here to learn about things about you, because I would love to learn what this record was about.
So this record was recorded and kind of written from about 2016 to early about 2019 or so, roughly. Okay. My date estimations are very, very rough.
Okay.
Let's put
so
it
before
that way.
COVID.
Before COVID,
okay.
I don't. The members of the band, the people who produced this album, they didn't know that this was coming.
Right.
And I mean, even they played at a New Year's Eve show in Brooklyn, New York, and Julian Casablancas told everyone that the album was going to be released sometime in 2020. That was when he made that announcement. That was before COVID, so they didn't have. No one had any idea a global pandemic was about to shut the world down.
What year was that? Was that 2019 going into 2020?
Yes.
Okay.
That particular New Year's Eve show in Brooklyn was 2019 going into 2020. So you got it exactly right, yeah.
Right. If I believe my timeline is correct, COVID happened a little during 2019, right before the New Year's, like in November. Like the first case, I think was actually, let's look that up. I think the first case was in like September,
something
October.
Like that. Yeah, something like that. I think it was. I'm kind of going off the timeline of when the world completely shut down, which was in March of 2020. So that's kind of what I'm going off of. And the album itself came out in April.
Oh wow. Okay, so what I just looked up looks like December 31st of 2019.
Was that the first case in the U.S.?
No. The World Health Organization office in China informed of several cases of pneumonia of unknown etiology, so a cause, basically.
Right.
So it was like a type of pneumonia, which was COVID, of course,
right,
that was unknown and that nobody in the medical field had ever seen before. So that is when the World Health Organization in China was informed about it, was the day before 2020 started.
Wow. Okay. That I don't think, maybe I did know that, but I just forgot. But I don't think I knew that. That was
wow. According to Wikipedia, it says that some of the first happened it says that it began with an outbreak of COVID-19 in Wuhan, China in December 2019.
Wow.
And then after it spread in other areas of Asia, of course, and then to the whole world in early 2020.
Yeah. So I'm kind of going off the timeline of when the world shut down, all the quarantines started coming in place, and all of that stuff started happening, and we were just basically forced to stay home.
Right. So back to the Strokes.
Yeah.
For the common people that don't really know much about the Strokes, which is I am one of them, because their music sucks. But so it looks like the timeline was they started the 2019, or like, what was it, New Year's Eve, right? You said?
Yeah.
New Year's Eve 2019, going into 2020, of course. The Strokes were playing in New York. Is that what you said?
They're playing in Brooklyn, New York.
And probably had no inclination about COVID. Because I don't think any of us did.
Maybe in the news or something, because I don't know.
But I don't
they're
think
into that.
But I don't think anything in the news cycle on December 31st of 2019 had any types of COVID.
Yeah, there's no way. I would be very, very surprised. But
so they had no clue about COVID, and the new abnormal was not connected to it.
I mean, generally speaking, no. Okay. I think that
they didn't plan this.
They did not plan this. I think that kind of that's
good. I'm glad they didn't plan a global pandemic.
Yeah, that was not the Strokes doing. If it was, then we could have some very problematic situations.
Yeah, I was about to say, we have another conversation.
That's a whole different story. If we somehow find out all these years later that they somehow knew, and they were responsible.
They knew in 2016 and started to make a new abnormal.
And they wrote all the lyrics and all this stuff in preparation for the world being completely turned upside down.
That's hilarious.
So that's kind of where, actually, there's one little tidbit that I want to kind of share here, if I can find it. There's one song on this record. It's one of my favorites. It's not my favorite personally. There's a song on the record titled "Ode to the Mets."
Okay.
As in the baseball team.
Okay.
And I think the backstory to this is wildly interesting. So Julian Casablancas wrote this song back in 2016. The Mets were playing in the 2016 National League wildcard game against the San Francisco Giants.
Okay.
The Mets lost. I think they lost 3-0, I want to say. Let's double check that to make sure I am right. Did I say 3-0 or 2-0?
3-0.
Yeah, they lost to the Giants 3-0.
Yep.
Therefore, being eliminated from the playoffs. And Julian Casablancas, he's born and raised in New York City, lifelong Mets fan.
Right.
Most of those guys are Mets fans.
Right.
So he's a huge Mets fan. He starts writing lyrics after this game while waiting for the train. And he gave it a working title, Ode to the Mets, as like a joke. And then as they were kind of going later on, they were going in the studio, they were like writing these lyrics, kind of crafting the song. It was almost like, oh, I wrote it as a joke, but then Fabrizio Moretti, the drummer, just convinced him, hey, you should keep it because the lyrics of the song are kind of just it's something about at least according to the band, according to Julian Casablancas, according to Fab, it's kind of about something that you love unconditionally, but it continues to disappoint you. Like the Mets.
Right.
In this particular
I mean,
instance.
the Mets have been poverty for a while. Hate to say it.
Yeah, but that's kind of so that's sort of where for now at least, that's kind of where the Strokes story ends. They haven't released any material since then.
Okay.
I will say that Julian Casablancas did kind of go off and form his own other band. You know what I'm talking about. I've mentioned the Voids to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
You would hate them even more than you hate the
No,
Strokes.
trust me.
So.
You've played a few sons for me. I do, in fact, hate them.
They're pretty bad. I was like, they're pretty bad.
Yep.
I personally love them. They're a more active musical group, let's say. But as for the Strokes, very, very famous producer Rick Rubin has claimed that he is working with the Strokes on another album in Costa Rica. I think I read. I don't know how true that is. I would assume. I don't know. I think we're probably a while away from the next Strokes album. Right. So
hey, keep them waiting.
Ha!
Hey, I'm gonna be honest.
Go.
If it's good, keep them waiting. I want. Well, good in the sense of whoever your fans are good, because obviously I will never listen to it. But
right.
As long as it's good, keep them waiting. Make them wait a little bit longer. Yeah. I feel like there's some good tension with that.
Yeah. No, I get that, and but that's sort of the Strokes lore, the background, if you will.
Shout out the Strokes.
Yeah.
Shout out the Strokes.
Do we want to? Do you want me to keep going?
Yes, please do.
That's one.
Yes. You have two more.
I have two more. I'm not gonna go as deep, I think, into the lore on these next two. Maybe the third one, because I'm saving my favorite for last.
Of course. But I will say, now, in my personal opinion, I will never listen to them.
Right.
But I highly recommend for all the listeners here, go check them out. You know what? Go check them out.
That's wow. Okay. Yes. Do what he's saying.
Yep,
do what he's saying. Go check them out.
The Strokes. But it's bad music. I'm warning you.
Yeah. So, do you want me to keep going?
Yes, please.
We're
please
1
keep
for
going.
3.
Yep.
So the next band now is LCD Sound System.
Yes, of course. Now I will preface this with that.
I think I've only played maybe one somewhere between 1 and like 3 LCD Sound System songs. Not a lot.
So every Wednesday we have this routine where we go to Cane's.
Routine.
Yes. And we go to Cane's, and then I usually drive him home after that. And then we play a song each time. Yeah. So like I get a song and he gets a song. And he always either plays The Strokes, Vampire Weekend.
We'll get to them.
We will get to them. And whatever you just said, LCD Sound Systems.
Yes, that's right.
Or The Voids. Those 4 bands, that's all I hear from him. And it's like, stop playing bad music, please. That would be great. But, I hurt his ears, he hurts my ears. But anyway, please continue on. Now we are getting to the history of the LCD Sound Systems.
LCD Sound Systems. Everyone just shut up and play the hits, okay? So LCD Sound System, also from New York. They're from Brooklyn, formed in 2002 by James Murphy. The thing about James Murphy, this guy does quite literally basically everything for this band. He sings, he plays 90% of the instruments on basically all of their songs, all of their records. He's got there are other members of the band, but I would say about 85 to 90% of LCD's sound system is James Murphy.
Okay.
So they've released, give me a sec. Let me count these albums.
So these guys came out about the same time that the same time the Strokes did.
Yes, they're part of that scene. LCD Sound System is a little bit more electronic, like dance kind of thing.
Right.
But it's
so
still,
they're not. Are they still in that rock, like genre?
Yeah, it's kind of. I was about to say, like, fundamentally, it's still like rock. It's still kind of like.
But a different type of rock.
Yeah, kind of like the first kind of genre that pops up here is dance punk revival, which I was like, yeah, that checks out.
Shout out dance punk revival. What that is, I have no clue.
Yeah, I'm not really totally certain what that is either, but I like have an idea. But they've released 4 albums. A 5th album is on the way, although I don't know when that's going to come out. So their first album was kind of just self-titled. It was just called LCD Sound System.
Okay.
There are 2 songs on this record that are kind of, I think, the most important. One of which is "Losing My Edge." It's basically, I've played it in your car before, and you hated it. You hated it. It was honestly like, I'm not even trying to like be a jerk. I'm just saying, like, it was hilarious to see your reaction to it because the whole song is like.
Are we surprised?
No, we're not surprised. The song is basically just James Murphy just talking for like 8.5 minutes over this kind of, just this like.
Joe, that's 8.5 minutes I'll never get back.
Yeah, just 8. Like I think it was just 8 minutes of your life that you're never gonna get back.
No.
He's just like basically talking about stuff that like musical experiences of his and like out there in the world experiences of his, some of which weren't even true because he wasn't alive for some of the things that he's describing. He's talking about stuff that happened in like the 60s and 70s, and he would have been like maybe a teenager or maybe like just like a little kid when some of this stuff was happening.
Wait, in 2002 he was talking about stuff from the 60s and 70s?
Yeah.
Interesting.
80s as well. So stuff like that, and so released "Losing My Edge," which I love, and a song also called "Daft Punk" is playing at my house. You know Daft Punk.
Oh, yeah.
Yes?
I know Daft Punk.
Yeah.
I love Daft Punk.
So Daft Punk and LCD Sound System are, I think, more similar than you might think. I think James Murphy took a lot of inspiration from Daft Punk. Okay, here's one, Levi. How many Daft Punk songs do you know?
Probably like 2.
Okay.
But also they're one of the most popular ones. Like, hold on, let's go see.
How many?
Daft
What Daft Punk songs do you know? I want to know
because I feel like Daft Punk is very, very popular.
They're incredibly popular, incredibly influential.
Yes.
I agree with you.
And there's this one video that always pops up when I'm scrolling.
Yeah.
Where these are obviously, just to paint a word picture for you guys, these are the iconic guys that have like the masks on.
The robots.
Yes, the robots. Exactly.
Yeah.
And what's so funny is what's their nationality again?
They're French, I want to
French?
say.
I think they are.
I believe
French.
they're
Yes,
French
their origin
electronic
from Paris.
duo.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But there's this iconic video that's them speaking in French through like their electronic voice.
Right.
And one guy is saying burger. Have you ever seen that?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Oh, it's
I don't
so
think
funny.
that does not ring a bell.
It's so funny. But they're singing, harder, faster,
Yes.
strong. Yeah,
Yes, I know
that song. So one of the guys thinks it's burger, and then the other guy is like harder, fat, like
Is
the actual lyrics.
singing the right
The
lyrics.
actual
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
lyrics. And the other guy is just singing
It's just
burger.
singing burger.
I'm like,
That
what?
sounds so stupid.
I know, but it's pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie.
It sounds pretty funny, but I think that's like LCD Sound System, James Murphy took a lot of inspiration from Daft Punk, and I think the title of that song, Daft Punk is Playing at My House, is it's about, apparently, I read somewhere, I'm not 100% sure if this is true or not. I read somewhere that the song itself is about getting progressively more drunk at a house party.
Oh, wow.
So very, very interesting. Sometimes, sometimes when shout out, I want to give a quick shout out to one of my best friends, Quinn Richards.
Shout out Quinn.
Shout out Quinn, one of our best friends,
Yes,
Quinn
of
Richards.
course.
He and a bunch of mutual friends of ours live together in a house, kind of off campus, whatever. And I remember one time I've been to a couple of parties where they had a bunch of people over, and there was eventually alcohol, right? You know the vibes.
Right. It happens.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about. It
of
happens.
course.
I personally don't drink. I don't find it appealing.
We haven't given our backstories, but we are from. We go to Indiana University.
Yeah, hence Levi's shirt.
Yes, of course. I don't know if you guys couldn't tell.
Yeah,
but we go to
that's his thing. Yeah,
Yep,
so
we go to Indiana University, and you probably know that we are pretty notorious for being a party school. Now, I don't really associate myself with that at times, but
me either. Yeah,
it definitely happens a lot.
Oh yeah.
Happens a lot.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it's kind of like it's a little it's never like anything too insane.
No, of course.
But there are a lot of people. There's a pretty fair amount of alcohol.
Of course.
People
naturally.
get tipsy, people get drunk. I think this kind of the thing about that though is that we're here in a small tiny town in Indiana, middle of nowhere. Sorry, but it's kind of true,
Brother. I am from small town Indiana. You don't even
like,
understand.
I don't even get that because
buddy, you're from Dallas, okay?
And that's kind of like my point because like James Murphy's from New York City.
Exactly.
That's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
Whole different animal.
Big cities.
Yeah.
Big people.
We aren't. I don't
a lot of people.
I don't know if we can't like because Bloomington is the smallest town I've ever lived in. Which is insane, right?
Because this is the biggest town I've ever lived in.
Exactly.
So it's so
it's like
funny.
it's almost like we can't. I don't want to say we can't understand it because I don't know if that's completely accurate.
Yeah.
But it's also like it's the shifts, kind of the tonally, just kind of the differences are very stark,
Yes.
are very large.
Yes. Because this is small town Indiana. Well, medium-sized town Indiana. And
Small town.
And
Small town for me, not for you.
Not for me. This is a gigantic city. But for you, it's very small because you lived in Dallas, which I believe has a population of like 2 million people.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And over 1 million. It's something crazy.
There's way too many people.
Yes, I am in total agreement with that. By the way, which we will probably cover more in depth in a future episode or something like that, because we talk about anything and everything here. That's what we kind of do. Yeah, but LCD Sound System, they released the self-titled first album, which got me into the band. Then Sound of Silver, which is a phenomenal record. A couple of songs on there, All My Friends and Someone Great, are my two favorites. Then 2011, they released This Is Happening. And then they broke up. Yeah. So there's it's crazy because they broke up in
How could they?
It's insane. There's a twist, but I'm not gonna get there. I'm not gonna get there yet. We're getting there in a second.
Yeah.
So there's a twist. They released This Is Happening, and then after a while, they went on tour for the album, and then or what I believe was the tour for the album, and then they went into Madison Square Garden for what would be their final show, and there was a documentary made about it. And if you remember at the very beginning of this little section, I said, "Shut up and play the hits." "Shut Up and Play the Hits" was the title of this documentary that covered LCD Sound System's final show, and then it also shot James Murphy the morning after. And like the breakup was official. There's no more LCD Sound System, and they just filmed. Apparently, they just filmed James Murphy, I guess, at his home after the morning after the show.
Interesting. What year was this?
This was 2011.
Okay.
Um,
Because I'm looking at the Wikipedia timeline,
yeah.
and it says there is a post-breakup. So
Yeah, we're just getting to that. Surprise! They got back together like 4 years later.
whoa.
Yeah, they got back together, released American Dream, and that is kind of like, that is probably the LCD Sound System record. It's either that or This Is Happening. I don't know a whole lot about those two records. I still think they're both good.
Right.
Yeah, they released American Dream in 2017. One of the singles, Oh Baby, is frankly unbelievable. One of my favorite LCD Sound System songs is that one.
Interesting.
And then they released, as of kind of brings us up to where we are now. They released a single called X-Ray Eyes.
Interesting.
And they are going to release a fifth album at some point. Don't know when, but at some point. And that's kind of the LCD Sound System story. There was some stuff I skipped over. There was a song they released for a film. I'm trying to figure out what
was the film?
It was called White Noise.
Oh,
the film. They released a song called New Body Roomba, which I've heard maybe once, and I don't.
I've never heard of the movie.
Yeah. The movie was called White Noise, apparently, in 2022. So they released a song for that. Other than that, that's kind of that's where LCD Sound System stands right now.
Interesting. Now,
yes.
What is that third and final?
Yes, the third and final band. I saved the best for last.
Oh, wow. Best for last.
Yeah, so I mentioned that the Strokes were my favorite band up until about a year or so ago. But actually, more than that, maybe a year and a half or so.
Mm-hmm.
The Strokes aren't my favorite band anymore. Who is? Oh, it's just this band called, I don't know, you may have heard of them, Levi. They're called Vampire Weekend.
Bruh.
I don't, this is funny to me. So I'm trying to figure out, like, which one of them you hate, you can't stand more out of the Strokes or Vampire Weekend. I think I would guess you've probably heard more Vampire Weekend than the Strokes.
From you.
From me.
Yes.
Exclusively from me.
But I've probably on my own heard more of the Strokes.
Okay. That makes sense because the Strokes are a little bit more
popular.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not to say Vampire Weekend isn't popular because they are, but go ahead.
The Vampire Weekend and the Strokes both suck. But I would say the Strokes is probably the band that I would have listened to before I met you.
There we go.
Yeah.
So let's go through Vampire Weekend. Oh man, I'm so excited.
So I would say Vampire
so
Weekend is the one that I hate the most because they suck.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so Vampire Weekend. They're formed in New York City in 2006. So a little bit later than the first two.
Okay.
Just a little bit. So the band consists of lead vocalist, guitarist Ezra Koenig, multi-instrumentalist Rostam Batmanglij, drummer Chris Thompson, and bassist Chris Baio. They got started with their debut in 2008. It was also self-titled, just called Vampire Weekend.
Okay.
This album
again, this is the rock.
Yes, this is rock.
What type of rock is it?
So this is interesting. This is not really like the Strokes or LCD Sound System.
Okay.
This is more of kind of like art rock, almost pop kind of.
Interesting.
Like indie Baroque pop. It's kind of got like world beat influences, kind of almost European influences.
Okay.
Which makes sense because several of the band members have European heritages, backgrounds.
Okay.
And these guys are, so this is kind of this is the way I think Vampire Weekend is different from a lot of other rock bands, is because typically rock is made up of, the rock music scene are made up of kind of these guys who are just like who are kind of just sort of poor, sort of like underprivileged, kind of rebellious, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Vampire Weekend is really nothing like that.
Okay.
Vampire Weekend, these guys met while they were going to Columbia University in, let me see if I can get this right, in New York, I want to say. Yeah, in New York City. It's an Ivy League school. These guys all went to an Ivy League school, which is crazy. And that's not like, how many rock musicians do you know that went to an Ivy League school?
Zero.
Yeah. Outside of these guys, zero, right?
Exactly.
And these guys, they kind of got that. They when they released their first album, they kind of got this sort of. There were a ton of critics, a ton of people who loved that album, right? But then, as you might expect, there were other like critics who were just kind of perceiving these guys as these sort of white, upper class, rich, like
privileged guys.
Yeah, privileged guys. Yeah, exactly. There was another word I was looking for. You nailed it. Privileged.
Right.
And one critic even went as far as to call Vampire Weekend the whitest band in the world. Oh. That's pretty crazy, right? I know you don't like crazy. Vampire Weekend's music, but that's objectively crazy. A crazy thing to say. And obviously they took offense to that because, they've got European heritages, backgrounds. Like, we're not all from, we're not these
white Americans.
Yeah, we're not these. Ezra Koenig said in an interview in 2009, he said, "Nobody in our band is a WASP," which is a quote that has always been really wildly interesting to me.
What is a WASP?
If you don't know what WASP stands for, stands for White Anglo-Saxon Protestants.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's
I thought you meant like an actual wasp and like
no.
Like,
no, it's an acronym.
Like a buzzing.
No, it's
stinging wasp?
Insect. Yeah,
exactly. Insect.
It's an acronym. It's kind of like, we don't have to pay for college. We don't have to worry about financial stuff. We don't have to do any of this.
Right.
Ezra Koenig came back and said that he claimed he was paying for Columbia, paying to go there, paying off student loans, that kind of thing.
Right.
And I'm guessing he was not the only one of the band who was doing this kind of stuff. So they released Vampire Weekend. It's very poppy, very peppy, kind of like got those summertime vibes.
Right.
They write a lot about Cape Cod,
okay,
which is everything about this band is interesting to me, as you know. But I think that part too, because like I've never been to Cape Cod. Now that I know some of these songs, I want to go to Cape Cod so bad, just so I can like know kind of what they're talking about a little bit.
See, this is interesting. I've been reading on Wikipedia, as one does, and
of course,
it says that I'm gonna jump forward a little bit, okay, and go into their Modern Vampires of the City.
Oh yes,
okay,
an elite record.
Yes, of course. Is that would you say is that your favorite? Out of
no.
Oh, wow. And you say it's an elite record.
We'll get there last.
Wow. Yes, I want to hear all your favorite records from each band.
Really?
Yes,
okay. I think we'll get to that towards the end.
But what I was reading here is that in January of 2012, President Barack Obama added Vampire Weekend to a short list of musical artists that he sought support from for his re-election campaign.
Yeah.
That is interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah.
And then he made it on the list of people like Jay-Z, not Beyonce, Jay-Z.
I mean, maybe Beyonce.
Maybe. Jay-Z and Beyonce are right there. So, and then Alicia Keys and John Legend.
Like, those are some big name musicians.
And then the Vampire Weekend.
Right. Like those guys. Anywho, yes.
Exactly. That's exactly what I would be thinking.
I love Modern Vampires. And I also love the album before that, Contra, which I was just listening to earlier today.
Shout out.
So Contra was nominated for a Grammy, actually, but it did not win, unfortunately. Sad face. But Contra came out in 2010. Yes, 2010, in January 2010. And then Modern Vampires of the City came out in 2013. So both of those records are absolutely phenomenal.
To Joe's ears.
To my ears. Not necessarily to Levi's ears.
No.
But so keeping going through Vampire Weekend, I won't spend too much more time here because it's 4 o'clock. Let's see if we can get through the speed run this.
No, that's okay. Take your time.
After Modern Vampires of the City in 2016, Rostam, the band's primary producer, and he was multi-instrumentalist, primary producer. He leaves the band.
Okay.
So he leaves, so now they're down to three. And then three guys. Then they release Father of the Bride in 2019, which is still a good record, in my opinion, the weakest Vampire Weekend album. That's just me. There was a lot of guest vocalists on that record. Not a huge fan of that, but that's just me. Anyway, after this past year, last year, 2024, in April of 2024, Vampire Weekend released their 5th studio album.
Oh, wow.
Only God Was Above Us. My favorite album in music, and in my opinion, the greatest album to ever be created in the history of music ever.
Wow.
That's what made Vampire Weekend my favorite
That
band.
is a hot take.
Yeah.
That is a hot take.
I know, and there's some pretty legendary albums out there, as you know.
Exactly. That's crazy. Now it kind of like the timeline makes sense because, like you said, about a year and a half ago, you did start to become a Vampire Weekend fan. You were like, you know what?
A vampire head, shall we say.
I've never heard that, but you know what? Shout out. And now I know. Now I understand why.
So that album is why. I don't want to get too super in-depth to it because we're basically out of time. We can get into it, of course, if you want, in a later episode if you want to know.
Well, I mean, we will never know because we're just yapping here.
We're just yapping, bro.
Exactly. We're gonna
talking.
branch off the random conversations.
That's kind of, I mean, that's just it. So that was kind of that's Vampire Weekend, a short history here. I don't want to go too much longer because it's 4 o'clock. We've been doing this for about 50 minutes or so.
That's fine.
Yeah, but
let them listen. I hope you guys enjoyed.
Yeah, this is kind of yeah.
I don't think we're ending it right now, but
no, not at the moment.
I do no, because I do want to hear. I do have one last question for the people.
Yes.
What are your favorite albums from every single one of those bands?
So
we've heard Vampire Weekend, which is Only God Was Above Us.
Yes.
Which made you have them be your favorite.
It made Vampire Weekend unseat the Strokes at number 1 on my favorite bands list.
So let's go back to the Strokes.
Yeah.
What was your favorite album?
The New Abnormal, because it was the record that made me fall in love with the Strokes.
Okay.
To begin with.
I love it. Now, after that, the LCD Sound System. So what was your favorite album there?
LCD Sound System is that's a very good question. I would probably say overall Sound of Silver, their second one. Okay. The thing about the LCD Sound System, my mom loves LCD Sound System. Okay. She loves LCD Sound System. Let me put it this way. She loves LCD Sound System the way I love Vampire Weekend.
Okay.
I think you know what I mean by that.
But so with one more question.
Yes.
With the LCD Sound System, did they get different after the breakup? So like, did it change? Was there a different atmosphere?
I wouldn't say that. I think that their record, there was a lot more use of synthesizers, the kind of these big, booming, echoey synthesizers in American Dream, which is the first album they made after they got back together.
Right.
But I wouldn't say there was a ton of change kind of stylistically. I think it was the same kind of... there's a word I'm looking for. Kind of the same influence, the same vibes kind of thing.
Right.
So
interesting.
That's my music taste. I feel like I've talked too much about me.
No. I love it. We will get to me in other podcasts if we'd like. Joe.
And there will be more episodes.
Oh, of course. You will see us night and day. We don't have a set time and date and when we're going to post these yet.
We just do it whenever.
When we're able to record. But you know what? We're freeballing it here. We're branching off into random topics. We're just going to have fun. We're just going to talk about whatever we want. And we're just going to post them whenever we want because, you know what? We just want to yap, to be honest.
We just want to yap, and that's gonna be it for episode 1.
Yep, I hope you guys enjoyed our yapping session. Yapping session number 1.
Our yap session. There will be more yap sessions. Don't worry about that. This will be up.
Stay tuned.
This will be up on Spotify, YouTube,
Yes, Spotify and YouTube, I believe, will be our main platforms.
Yes.
Maybe at later dates we can get in depth into other places like Apple Podcasts or stuff like that. But for right now, you can find us on YouTube and Spotify.
Yeah, but for now, that's been episode 1 of Branching Off with Joe Elms and Levi Jones. Thank you all for watching or listening or both, and we'll see you later.
Bye, guys.